Hey there, Lumberjacks, and welcome to Discover Digital. Technology surrounds us and is integrated in almost every part of our lives. In today's episode, we take a closer look at our ITS Statewide Team and how they help our students. I am joined today with Assistant Director of the Service Desk and Technical Support Services, Lisa Young. Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm great. How about yourself?
I'm good too. It's a Monday, but I feel good.
For us, it's warm too. I hope it's warm up there, but it's nice and warm here.
It's getting there. It's one of the nicer days, I think. So would you like to introduce yourself and explain a little bit of what you do at ITS?
Sure. So currently, I just started a new role as the Assistant Director of the Service Desk and Technical Support Services. I also manage our desktop support statewide team. As part of those responsibilities, I work closely with other NAU departments in the Valley, as well as some external community campus stakeholders. So I work with people on different community colleges to negotiate or work out what we need to do to provide services on their campuses.
Oh, that's awesome. And so you're in Phoenix, right?
I am located in Phoenix, yes. And I have team members here as well as one in Yuma. And now I have a bunch of team members in Flagstaff.
Oh, that's awesome. So what does that mean? What does your team do and how does it affect our Lumberjack community?
So my statewide team currently, what they do is they provide desktop support to faculty and staff at over 20 statewide campuses. They also provide the classroom support for faculty and students at any of our statewide campuses. And we also serve as a kind of a liaison between things that are happening across the state or at our community campuses and ITS or other departments on campus.
That's so cool. And you mentioned your collaboration with community colleges. How does that work and exactly kind of?
So my role is we actually have a community campus team. So we have representatives from enrollment management, from CapCot, from our educational business partnerships and NAU Online. So we meet together advising as well to discuss what we're offering or what we're doing on any particular community college campus. We are on all 10 community college campuses in Phoenix, as well as other community campuses around the state. So I represent ITS in those meetings. So when they're talking about different technology needs, that's where I fit in, whereas they might meet and discuss student services or other types of things. So we kind of work as a team to establish the best services we can for our students.
That's awesome. And so would there be like an example of that? Would it be like software or would it be technology or just anything and everything?
Well, like currently with our current COVID situation, when we went to the NAU Flex model, we did that, with all of NAU did that. So we worked closely with Keegan at Classroom Support, and we received all of the Flex equipment as well. So I worked with, for example, Glendale Community College with their IT team to discuss options for us putting our Flex equipment in the classrooms that we use, that NAU uses on their campus when we teach our courses. And through working with their IT department, all of our community campuses allowed us to put our cameras and our Flex equipment in there so that they were available for our faculty and staff to use them. The nice thing is it also enabled their classes to be flexible for their students. And many of our community campuses adopted that same model, and now they have that Flex equipment in other classrooms besides rooms that just NAU uses.
That's super cool. I didn't know that NAU ITS took such a big role in that. Like the temperature taking kiosk and all of that. That's awesome. I had no clue.
We also have those in our community campuses as well.
That's so cool. So what are the main differences you see in statewide support versus supporting the main Flagstaff campus, or is it the same?
Some of the differences that we have is that our many of our community campus faculty and staff are not on an NAU network. So their offices are not in a place that has NAU network. So that's a real big difference. There's a difference in how we can support them or some of the resourcing that they get. They have all the same resources. They may just have to access it a little bit differently. So they'll have to run the VPN every day as part of their daily routine to access like share drives, those things that we can do when we're on an NAU network without the VPN. They just need it pretty much as soon as they get on campus. That's one of the first things they do. So I think that's probably one of the bigger differences.
Yeah, that's so cool. I never knew. I didn't put two and two together. I knew that working remote had some differences, but I just didn't think of little things that I feel I would take for granted while being in Flagstaff.
Well, and that's been kind of a different thing for us. For us, it was like, when COVID hit, we've always done that. So it was actually beneficial for us. We were able to actually be a resource for some of the mountain campus people.
It's good. If anything, everyone should be using VPN. I just know that like, because sometimes we're in Flagstaff, I'll take that for granted and I'll get a little lazy and I don't use it, but oh my gosh, do not tell the security team that I said that.
It's definitely the most secure way to go.
Oh, 100%. So what in your role, what are some things that our statewide lumberjacks have been experiencing?
I think it's pretty much the same as our campus lumberjacks have. They're probably feeling a little disconnected if they were used to coming in person in the past, because for many of our community campuses, the actual community college is closed still. They are allowing NAU students to come in if we are holding classes. Again, many of them are utilizing Flex, but we do have some classes that meet alternate weeks or days. And so I think probably the same as that, as well as, because we're still seeing a few students coming through our computer labs here. So that's been kind of nice and different. I don't know again, not being on campus, not knowing what the students are doing there, but I think our students here again are probably starting to, it's probably exciting because of all the different ways that we've adopted to be able to do things due to COVID, are some of the ways that they've been modeling and are already doing. So I think that those resources that have become more readily available are probably nice.
Well, that's awesome. What was I going to say? What are some common questions that folks from statewide service are asking statewide service desk?
I think right now that's probably pretty similar across the state with our service desk on campus, as well as our statewide folks. We're getting a lot of questions about NAU two-step authentication. Other people may know it as Duo, but we have a lot of questions about that because NAU has been taking those security measures to make sure that our data and our systems are safer. So we are starting to enable that two-step authentication everywhere. So we're getting questions on that. Again, because so many of our community campus members have had to use VPN. A lot of them we registered for Duo a long time ago. And I think that's a benefit that we have, is that because we meet as a team of community members, we were able to do a planned phase with that, where we met with all of those people that were going to be affected to pass out fobs and get them all enrolled all together. Enrollment management worked with us to get all of the enrollment management folks set up at the same time. So that was kind of nice. They won't feel that pain that maybe some people have had to. And then right now, ITS as a whole, we're going through a Windows and Mac operating system end of life plug right now. And so right now we're all kind of getting bombarded with those types of questions and incidents.
Yeah, I have noticed that two-step is being pushed for so many things. As a student employee, I had to get it pretty much as soon as I started working, but now I know that they're implementing it in the VPN, or things like, I believe Office 365 is coming out with that soon too. So more and more students, staff, and faculty are all going to have to need it, which just leads to a little bit more questions, but for the greater good, I think, at least.
it definitely will be for the greater good. And I think it'll become really natural faster than people realize. So once they get used to it, it really won't seem like it's what we do when we bank. It's what we do when we do a lot of things. So I think it'll start to come kind of natural.
Yeah, and I think at least I can speak for myself saying that I definitely have experienced the security part of it with my social media. My account got hacked, but I was able to recover it because of the two-step authentication. And so now, and I used to think it was so annoying and tedious, but because of that, it just saved me such a headache that I'm just so thankful for it.
Well, and I think that's where we're coming from, right? Because we're having to help people deal with when that's happened to them. And I think people would be surprised that, that NAU's done a really good job of trying to prevent that from happening. But when it does happen, it's a big deal for somebody. So this is going to hopefully help eliminate how often that happens even more.
Yeah, especially with things with like everything being online, it's so common to have cyber attacks or phishing scams, and people don't even see them coming.
Right.
Oh, so what is your favorite part of your job?
I think my favorite part is collaborating with other members of ITS to create solutions for our customers and advocating on behalf of our customers and their needs. I think sometimes our customers can't articulate exactly what they need. So being out on the field and being on the ground, understanding where they're coming from, I think that's a real rewarding feeling, is helping them come to a solution that involves technology to meet their needs. And for me, working with a network of NAU departments to further the mission of NAU, and figuring out together how to best do that, and how it has to look potentially a little different in certain places.
Yeah, I think you bring up a really good point, that a lot of people don't, and I feel like I say this a lot, but I feel like a lot of people don't realize that ITS is very communicative. Like, there is a lot of human interaction, and people, I think, sometimes see us as like these little robots, and like they just think, oh, ITS, like some server room. But I feel like you really like nailed it by saying that you need to figure out what people need and how to communicate all that. And I just think it's awesome. And I wish that more people like notice that, because I even used to think like, oh, ITS is just a bunch of people who do coding. They never talk to each other, but I think people do.
Yeah, I think, and what we need all of those pieces to make ITS work. So I think, but I think you're right. I think our department as a whole, we definitely, I mean, our CIO tells us that we have to work with people, and they'll direct what we need or what we need, what we can offer them.
100%. Yeah, that's not to say that we can't do this without our coders or the server rooms or anything like that. But I do think it's really cool how you like just piecing it all together makes it work. It's really like you said, our CIO really says that all the time. We're in the people business, is what he likes to say. So what do you think departments and institutions can do to help their end users with common problems?
I think one thing as a whole is just to kind of embrace technology. It's really easy to think that we're putting it there to be an obstacle. So I think embracing it is probably key. And then I think not being afraid of it. What departments can do potentially, at least at NAU, is becoming familiar with the services that we offer. And we have the ServiceNow portal, and that portal gives you access to some knowledge-based articles with some detailed information that can answer a lot of technical questions, or just give you some information that could be useful as you form like a question or what your next move would be as a technology need. So I think that that's something that we could do, and just seeking out opportunities to participate in any types of trainings or tutorials when new technologies arise or changes are happening. I think that, our HR team, our ITS, we try to provide them with little tutorials or YouTube videos, paying attention to our social media. I think just if we as a whole would encourage our faculty and staff and tell them that those resources are out there, refer to them a lot. I think that helps. It would help build rapport, it would help build comfort levels, right? It's just encouraging and giving time for that type of practice. Like, I don't know how, just so that they have the time to go watch that video, or again, encourage them to use our social media platforms as a way of gaining knowledge or seeing what's going on.
Yeah, our socials have a lot of information, and it's a little bit more, I would like to say, maybe not oversimplified, but it does explain it in a little bit simpler terms. But like ServiceNow goes in such depth where if somebody needs like for example, our social media, it's like, oh, like what is two-step? They'll direct you to where you can go. Whereas like ServiceNow may have an article where it tells you, it walks you through all the steps of how to enroll and what it does. And so you're right, those are great resources. And the more that people become aware of them and use them, the easier it'll just be for them to get used to it, to get comfortable with it.
Right.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much for talking to me today. Would you like any last words before we leave?
I don't think so. I mean, it's a great place to be, a great place to work. And I'm excited about my new role and all the different things I'll get to be a part of. And it's an exciting place to be and an exciting time. I mean, it's a scary time for a lot of people, but technology's been able to step up and be helpful in ways people couldn't imagine. So I think it's an exciting time for us.
Congratulations on your new role too, by the way.
Thank you.
Not be able to function without you guys.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you so much. It was really nice talking to you.
It was good to talk to you too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.